on the streets in Hollywood. Why? Why were we on the streets in Hollywood?
Well, because we didn't manage to buy a car that we could sleep in, right?
Right, that was the first idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
Because when we moved to LA, we had $1,000.
Yeah, because you needed $1,000 cash to be allowed to go in. I think there was some kind of requirement as well. You needed to have a certain amount of money when you came in. But anyway, we had $1,000.
And the idea was that we wanted to buy a car.
We thought maybe for around $300.
Mm-hmm. And then just to sleep in that.
Yeah, and
because we knew that we weren't going to have a lot of money, so we knew that we couldn't have afforded an apartment or anything.
And you were somehow confident that you could drive this car or whatever.
Yeah, because I had just passed my driver's license, dude.
Yeah.
I had a driver's license.
And you had driven twice, so obviously you were like completely qualified.
Yeah. I'm more qualified than you.
Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't have a driver's license.
There you go. So that was the idea. It wasn't a completely stupid idea.
No. I mean, that was not stupid.
It's just that we absolutely didn't manage. I mean, I think we tried once, and then we were so intimidated.
Yeah.
Because we went downtown LA, where we thought there would be the cheap car dealers.
And there were.
And they were. And we were just like then walking down these
huge,
empty
massive streets.
I mean, we were just like coming from Europe. And I mean, honestly, like this barrio where we were, what's it called?
Part of town.
Looked like the desert to me. It looked like in a Western movie
it
or
was
something.
massive and empty
and dusty.
And there were all these car dealerships with Mexican car dealerships.
Mm-hmm. And
everything was in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that as well.
Mm-hmm. And we tried to talk to them.
Yeah.
But they didn't. I mean, we were sort of then standing at the fences trying to make contact, and they didn't even come out to talk to us.
Yeah.
And we just like felt so intimidated by the whole thing.
We really only tried it once.
Yeah, we never tried it again,
No.
And then we just didn't end up having a car.
Yeah. And it was frustrating because we saw the cars on the lots, and we also
saw the prices.
that they were within the prices that we could have paid.
Mm-hmm. But we just didn't manage to make contact with these people who were then just like standing back there.
Yeah.
And just like looked hostile, or
I don't know. We imagined they were hostile, or
didn't look at us at all. But they definitely didn't come out to make business with us.
No, somehow not.
Didn't want us as customers or whatever.
That's at least how we interpreted it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we were fresh from a different continent.
A different culture. We might have also misinterpreted it.
Yeah. But anyway, we didn't manage.
We definitely didn't manage.
We didn't manage to buy a car, and then we were kind of faced with the problem that we couldn't really go into a motel or anything because we didn't want to spend all our money on sleeping in a motel, because we knew that then it would be gone. And then what? Exactly. That was all we had. So we figured, well, we're gonna try to find a flat, or and then obviously we would only have money for a deposit and the first month's rent, but we kind of hoped that once we would actually have a flat, our parents would realize that we weren't coming home and would try to and they wouldn't want us to be on the streets, so they would pay the rent. Basically, that was the basic idea. Which, when you're 18, still seems like a totally
I just went to Hollywood, but you have to pay my rent.
Exactly. And of course, in the beginning, our parents, we did have a return ticket.
Because you could only buy a return ticket.
Yes, because you could only buy a return ticket. So I guess they just hoped that if everything went really awfully bad, we would just come home. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning we were really on our own, and then we thought the logical thing to do was to crash on the streets and just search for a flat and save as much money as possible so we could pay a deposit for a flat.
Which was not dumb. No,
that wasn't dumb. And we had our stuff in a locker at LAX because we didn't know where else to put it. Because we had our guitars with us, so it was we needed somewhere to put our stuff,
and we needed to hide our stuff because we were there on a tourist visa.
Yeah,
and we obviously knew that if we walked around with all our stuff, that would look very weird.
Yeah,
because it would look like we're actually homeless people, which we were, but it would actually look like it.
And they would then ask maybe for our IDs, and then they would kick us out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had our stuff at LAX. We did once consider to put it in the Greyhound station. Because we thought that because the problem with LAX was that it was a 24-hour locker. So you had to renew it every 24 hours. And because we had arrived in the morning,
very early morning, yeah,
7 or something, that's when we always had to be at LAX to renew the fucking locker. So we were always joking we were the only bums with an alarm clock. We actually had an alarm clock. This is before mobile phones. So.
My grandfather's old alarm clock. With this fake leather cover.
Right, that wasn't red.
And no, it was like cream color 50s, 60s, I don't know.
Was it this? You could open and close it.
Yeah, and the
travel alarm
gold
clock.
ring, gold rim. It was an amazing thing.
Yeah, awesome.
And we had that.
Yeah, on the street.
And it always rang at 6 in the morning.
And then one of us, obviously only one of us, because otherwise it would have been a waste of money, would catch the bus to LAX, walk in there. And the funny thing is you did have to walk through like a type of security.
Yes, you did. And once one of us even had this whiskey bottle, remember, with us? It was like the most ridiculous, stupid mistake we made. We were underaged.
Yeah.
We were illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
And we took this whiskey bottle through the security.
Why would we at 6 in the morning?
Because it was just in our rucksack. Because we just walked around with whiskey. And because we drank it and it just happened to be in the rucksack.
Yeah. I don't even remember what happened.
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Wasn't a very strict security. This was before 9/11, obviously.
Well, it was also, I think it was just also there were these ladies working at the security and they just already knew us. They started greeting us. It was really nice.
Yeah,
And
true.
I don't think they looked at our stuff that much.
No,
it was
they just knew we had the locker.
It was just like, it's just the boys that always come in the morning. Or like one of them,
Yeah. And then we renewed the locker and we went back up to Hollywood because we also didn't dare to stay on the streets anywhere else because West Hollywood seemed like a relatively safe place to stay.
Yeah, I mean, we had seen it with the car dealers in downtown LA.
Exactly. We didn't want to go downtown.
No.
We didn't want to... no, we didn't really want to go anywhere else. We had this little place that we always slept at, the building site, behind a little wall. That worked well for us. So that's where we were. And that was very, very... I think we did that for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we also really went back to that. I remember that we had that run-in with these street kids.
With the street kids on Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah.
Because they realized that we were all of a sudden there and they were checking us out. And...
yeah, they didn't want us in their territory.
Maybe. No.
Or...
Yeah.
was definitely something we didn't want to get involved in.
Yeah, they were not all hostile. They weren't like that was also partly a very friendly contact. I remember that we were also then hanging out with them, and they invited us to the car park where they were hanging out, and they were also going to sleep there because they were then also tired.
Right.
But we didn't feel that it was well enough hidden because we just didn't want to be picked up by the police and thrown out of the country. Yeah. So then we went. We actually
back
then
to our place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was 2 different encounters.
Yeah.
With the
True, because there were also the guys who smacked me in the face because I didn't want to tell them my real name.
Right. Yeah.
That was a different.
That was a different group, though. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but that was really the only we managed to stay out of trouble. Yeah. Very well, and every day we would just kind of go around and look for a flat. And that was not something we had a lot of experience in. No,
like we didn't know that if you wanted to rent a flat, for example, you would usually show your papers.
Yeah, because we saw this, we looked at this one flat a bit closer to Hollywood, and which we quite liked. And then it kind of came as of a shock to us when they asked us, when they then said they would have rented it out to us. But then they were like, yeah, and then you can come again and you can bring your papers and this and that. And we were kind of like, okay, yeah, we'll call you. So that was a bit of a shock.
It was, absolutely. I remember because then we thought like, it's like,
we're never going to find anything.
No.
And then we saw, I think we actually just saw it on the building itself, right? Where it said that there was available, flats available, which was that building up North Clark Street.
I don't know where we tried it again. We had to, right?
We had to. I mean,
Nothing
otherwise
better to
we would have had to leave the country again. We didn't want to do that. So we called up that guy and met with him, and then we were so lucky because that was actually a guy who was very corrupt and didn't give a shit about papers or anything. He just wanted to see cash.
And that was great because we could just move in straight away.
That very day.
The
same day.
stay.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, whatever. Like because we had cash.